Speakout, 2nd edition, Upper Intermediate Class CD, by Francis Eales and Steve Oakes. Published by Pearson. Copyright Pearson Education Limited, 2015. Lead-in. Recording 1. 1.
This. Women. Minutes. System.
2.
These. Leave. Extremely. Reach.
3.
Again. Pronunciation. Completely. Future.
4.
Actually. Angry. Guarantee. Absolutely.
5.
Fun. Money. Public. Thorough.
6.
Book. Pull. Push. Took.
Unit 1. New Things. Recording 1. Conversation 1.
What would you say?
For me, an important question is, do you keep yourself to yourself, or do you tend to be around a lot?
What are you trying to find out?
I suppose I'm looking for a balance. Because the last thing you want is a person who comes in and goes straight up to their room and you never see them again till the morning. You know, antisocial. I'm quite sociable, you know. I like having friends around. I suppose I'm a people person.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you don't want a flatmate who's always there so you never get any privacy. And especially in the morning. I am not a morning person. I can't stand people who are all bright and cheerful first thing. You know, when I haven't woken up yet. So yeah, I'd like someone who is quite sociable, but not too sociable.
Yeah, I agree. I suppose another question is about housework and cleaning.
Yes. Something like, who cleans the place where you live now?
How would you answer that question?
Who cleans my flat now? I do.
Yeah, me too.
And I'd also ask, are you tidy?
What answer do you want the person to give?
Oh, I'd want the answer to be, oh, yes, extremely. I don't know. I'd hate to live with someone who was really untidy all the time. That never did the washing up, someone that left their stuff just lying all over the place. Someone who doesn't do their fair share of the housework. No, that would just drive me crazy. I suppose I'm quite tidy myself.
Yeah. And what about money?
Yeah, it can be a big problem. I had a flatmate once, and she used to say, I know I have to pay the electricity bill, but can I pay it next week? She promised to pay and then never did. Really unreliable.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how nice people are if they've got money problems. You need to know they can afford the rent.
But I wouldn't ask, could you tell me how much you earn? I think I'd say the rent and the bills have to be paid in advance. So I'd ask, can you pay 3 months in advance, and see what they say.
Conversation 2.
Ooh, that's really difficult to answer. I would like to think handsome, witty, cool.
Well, at least you're witty. You're quick and you make me laugh. And you're good with words.
No, but I don't think they describe me like that. I don't know, let me think. I suppose they'd say I'm good at coming up with new ideas. Yes. So I think people would describe me as quite creative.
And the second one?
Well, people know I like doing new things that are out of the ordinary.
Such as?
Oh, well, like last week, I was by the sea with some friends and it was a lovely warm evening. And we decided to go for a midnight swim. I mean, we hadn't planned to, it just seemed like a great idea at the time. I like doing new things, different things, so I suppose that means I'm adventurous. Or maybe a better word is spontaneous. Yeah, that's more like it. I get an idea and I do it, no hesitation. So I'm spontaneous. That's useful in my job too.
Can I ask what you do?
I work for a web design company. We design websites for new businesses.
Sounds interesting.
Most of the time.
So, that's 2 very positive words so far. What's your third one?
Well, I think people that know me would say I'm quite messy and disorganised. You should see my desk, papers everywhere, and my bedroom. And I'm always losing things. So, yes, my friends would say creative, spontaneous, and disorganised.
I'd be interested to know if you agree with them. What words do you think describe you best?
Now, that's an interesting question. Actually, I'd like to think that I'm fair, non-judgmental.
What do you mean by non-judgmental?
Well, I try not to make up my mind about people until I get to know them, so yes, non-judgmental. But I'd stick with spontaneous and disorganised. I think they describe me quite well. What about you?
Well, people say I'm fun to be with. A good laugh, if you know what I mean. I'm very practical and down to earth.
What do you do?
I train people in advanced computer software. But don't worry, I'm not a computer geek. I don't sit in front of my computer for hours.
Unit 1. Recording 2. 1.
Can you tell me why you're studying English?
2.
Do you have any idea how long you plan to study?
3.
Can I ask what you do in the evenings?
4.
Do you mind me asking if you have a full-time job?
5.
I'd be interested to know which countries you visited.
6.
Could you tell me where you got that watch?
7.
Do you know if there's a good cafe anywhere near here?
8.
I was wondering if you'd like to come for a coffee.
Unit 1. Recording 3. 1.
Frustrated.
2.
Wished the earth would swallow me up.
3.
Over the moon.
4.
Made my stomach turn.
5.
Relieved.
6.
Fascinated.
7.
Shaking like a leaf.
8.
Scared out of my wits.
9.
Impressed.
10.
Awkward.
Unit 1. Recording 4. 1.
Have you tried it before?
2.
I've thought about it a lot.
3.
Has he seen my last email?
4.
She's changed her address.
5.
My kids have gone out.
6.
Has she phoned anyone yet?
Unit 1. Recording 5. 1.
Frustration. Fascination.
2.
Embarrassment. Disappointment. Amusement.
3.
Creativity. Anxiety. Spontaneity.
4.
Awkwardness. Nervousness.
5.
Anger. Worry.
Unit 1. Recording 6.
Hello, English Language College. Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to inquire about a course.
Okay. Have you seen the information on our website?
Well, actually, the situation is that I booked myself onto a course through your website yesterday, and now I'd like to change.
Uh-huh. Could you tell me your name?
Maria Hidalgo,
And which course was it?
a general English course, pre-advanced.
Bear with me a minute. Yes, I've got it. What would you like to change to?
I just noticed this morning that you have an advanced course in business English starting next week.
That's right.
I was wondering if it would be possible for me to change to that group.
Okay, let me just check. There are still a few places in that group, but you'll have to do a level test.
But I've already done an online test for the other course.
I appreciate that, but for this course, you need to do a level test in person.
Can you tell me why I have to do it in person?
It's because it's a specialized course, and there's an oral component to the level test.
I see. Would there be any chance of doing the level test on the phone?
Hold on, let me check. Sorry to keep you. No, I'm afraid it has to be in person.
I see. Do you mind me asking what it involves?
There's a written task that you have to do under timed conditions and preparation materials for the oral interview.
I see. Sorry to be difficult. It's just that I'm really busy this week and can't make it up to the school for the level test.
That's going to be a bit of a problem. I'm not sure what we can do about that.
I'd really appreciate your help.
You couldn't come in on Thursday evening, could you?
No, I'm afraid not. But I tell you what, I could come in on Saturday to do the level test.
The problem is, that's leaving it very late, and we might have other applicants.
I'd be really grateful if you could hold a place for me till Saturday morning.
Can you hold on a minute? I'll just see. Okay, we can do that. We'll provisionally transfer the course fee over as a deposit.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I've got one more question, if I'm not keeping you.
No, go ahead.
If I don't get into this group, do I lose my course fee?
I'm afraid we can't refund the deposit, but you could transfer it to another course.
Oh, that's a relief. Would you mind putting that in an email for me?
Certainly.
Thanks. Could you tell me when the school opens?
We're open from 9 on Saturday. I won't be here myself, but I'll tell my colleague to expect you.
Oh, thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling.
Unit 1. Recording 7. 1.
I'd like to inquire about a course.
2.
I was wondering if it would be possible for me to change to that group.
3.
Can you tell me why I have to do it in person?
4.
Would there be any chance of doing the level test on the phone?
5.
Do you mind me asking what it involves?
6.
I'd be really grateful if you could hold a place for me till Saturday morning.
7.
Would you mind putting that in an email for me?
8.
Could you tell me when the school opens?
Unit 1. Recording 8.
I'm not the kind of person who likes to be a daredevil or do anything too exciting, but the most incredible thing I think I've ever done was when I went skydiving. So we went up in a tiny plane. I mean, it's so small, so it was quite scary. And the build-up was just epic. I was attached to another guy, an expert, by a harness. and I was sitting in front of him in this it was like a tiny tube little plane, and we went higher and higher and higher, and the suspense was building up, and then suddenly they just open this door, and you're flying through the sky, and you can just see for miles, and it's freezing cold. And the thing I'll remember most is the cold air hitting my teeth, because it was just absolutely freezing. And we sort of scuttled out to the edge, and our legs were dangling through the door of the plane. And he just said, I remember him shouting, he just said, "Smile," because there was a camera guy as well, because he can film it. And we sort of fell forward, and we were just spinning until he sort of levels you out. It was like I was completely weightless, and it didn't feel like you were falling at all. You were just sort of hovering. And it was still freezing cold on my teeth as well, like that. And then the parachute, I remember lifting out, and it just sort of pulled me all up. I was like, oh, like that. And we started spinning around, just doing all these kind of tricks and stuff. And that's when I started feeling sick, because it was spinning so fast. But it was just so much fun. It was hilarious. I was laughing, 'cause even though I felt sick, it was just the experience of it all and the adrenaline rush. It's one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. And it's an activity I'd like to recommend to all my friends, because I know they'd absolutely love it. It's hilarious.
Unit 2. Issues. Recording 1. 1.
A report out today says that over 800 million people in the world don't have enough to eat. The report, which was published last...
2.
20 people have died in an outbreak of the deadly Ebola virus. The virus, which has resulted in over
3.
If you're travelling to the city centre today, be careful of pickpockets, especially around the central square. Our reporter, Will Nakamar...
4.
The government has promised that their changes to income tax will help the poorest people in the country. A spokesperson said...
5.
The number of people out of work has risen in the last quarter to 7% and is now reaching 3 million. The situation is worst in the north.
6.
After 4 days of smog, only cars with even number plates can enter the city today. It is hoped that this move will improve the air quality after the levels of pollution started.
Unit 2. Recording 2. 1.
Rural. Urban. Global.
2.
Ethical.
3.
Domestic.
4.
Political. Industrial.
5.
Economic.
Unit 2. Recording 3. Conversation 1.
How long have you been working here?
I've been here for over 10 months now.
Conversation 2.
How many chocolates have you eaten?
I've only had 3.
Conversation 3.
What have you been doing? You're filthy.
I've been running.
Unit 2. Recording 4. 1.
The environmental group Ocean Project has projected that sea levels will rise 1 metre in the next 50 years.
2.
Fortunately, malaria has decreased in recent years, and the decrease is due to the use of nets and pesticides.
3.
When a major charity appealed for donations to help the deaf, their appeal was broadcast mainly via radio.
4.
Bonnie Tyler recorded her song Total Eclipse of the Heart in 1983, and in 2008 it set a record for the most popular karaoke track ever.
5.
Tourists in a well-known site were given permits to take photos, but they were not permitted to take in their cameras.
Unit 2. Recording 5.
Have you read this article?
Which
this
one?
is really shocking. Look at this about surveillance techniques on page 3.
Oh, yeah, I did have a look.
There's going to be absolutely no privacy
What, you mean like
for anyone.
the CCTV
Yeah.
camera bit?
Yeah, exactly, that.
Well, I'm glad they're there, actually.
Why?
Well, not long ago, a friend of mine, he was robbed at a bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
And they got the guy because of CCTV. They captured his image, and all the people who did it were arrested. So
Okay.
I think it's a good thing. Anyway.
Well, it's good if it's used for that, but don't you feel nervous about the fact that whatever you do, wherever you go, whatever you're doing, someone is watching you and recording what
I haven't
you're
got
doing?
anything to hide, so it's not really a
No,
problem.
but that's not the point, though, is it? It's an invasion of privacy.
Look, I think statistically more crimes are solved because of CCTV than not.
Right. What about that? Look, this one on page 2. CCTV facial recognition. Did you see that bit there at the bottom?
Yeah, I didn't really get that bit.
Right, so basically, just imagine you're walking down the road and a CCTV camera, takes your picture, yeah?
Mm.
And then a computer program can then find your name, all your personal information, based on recognising your face. So where you shop, where you live, what you like, what you buy, who your friends are. And there's nothing you can do about it.
That can only be a good thing, because it's going to catch criminals, isn't it? And if you've got nothing to worry about, then, it's never really going to be the issue
If
for
it's
you.
for that, yeah, I get your point.
If you haven't done
but-
anything wrong.
No, absolutely, but...
The thing that really bothers me, though, is the way that marketing companies can target you because of microchips in food packaging and stuff. So people get an idea of your shopping habits. I don't want to be sent adverts from companies that I don't know.
But we're being sent stuff all the time anyway from companies that we don't know. I wouldn't mind being sent adverts from, companies that I don't know if it's something that I want to buy.
Yeah. It's a little confusing, really, the way I feel about the whole thing, because on the one hand, I'm pro using the technology to catch criminals or whatever. I mean, serious criminals. But then on the other hand, I occasionally drive a little bit over the speed limit.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I've been given quite a few fines over the years because my number plate gets recognised. And I think more money should be spent elsewhere, to be honest.
I take your point, but I do actually think, although I'm really anti the amount of kind of, filming and information they have, when it comes to speeding, I do actually think that's quite sensible, that they can clock what people are doing.
Unit 2. Recording 6. 1.
A friend of mine was robbed.
2.
More crimes are solved.
3.
I don't want to be sent adverts.
4.
We're being sent stuff all the time.
5.
I've been given quite a few fines.
6.
Money should be spent somewhere else.
Unit 2. Recording 7. Conversation 1.
Have you seen this? There's a new law about computer games. They want to limit the kind of violent things that can happen in the games so kids don't see so much.
Really? Well, that makes sense. I do think that the violence in those games can make kids more aggressive.
Well, according to one article I read, kids are less aggressive if they play these games.
How could that be true?
Apparently, the games give them a chance to use up some of their energy, so they're calmer in real life.
Oh, that's hard to believe. In my experience, playing those games makes kids more aggressive. So I'm in favour of some kind of control.
I don't know. I agree to a certain extent, but I think kids can separate real life from computer games. I mean, I don't like computer games and I hate violence, but actually I think it's more of a problem to put these limits on.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree.
I suppose so.
Conversation 2.
Do you ever download music for free?
You mean illegally? No, I'm probably one of the few people that doesn't do it. I've always paid for downloads.
Why? I mean, nobody I know pays.
Exactly. And it's just theft, isn't it?
Oh, I totally disagree.
I mean, artists have copyright on their songs, so you're stealing from them. It's as simple as that.
But as far as I know, musicians these days get very little money from CD sales or downloads anyway, so they don't lose out. I mean, they want people to hear their music.
I'm not so sure about that. If people share the music without paying, how can musicians make any money?
Well, the famous ones, they don't need more money. And for newer groups, file sharing is the way they get known, so they don't have to spend a fortune, you know, on things like record companies and managers.
Yeah, but I mean...
Anyway, nowadays, singers and groups make most of their money from concerts.
I'm still not convinced. Aren't you worried about being found out? For instance, what about that man in the USA? Did you hear about that? Apparently he got fined about $1.5 million for downloading and sharing films.
$1.5 million? Ouch.
Yeah, so maybe you better think again.
Good point.
Conversation 3.
Do you think you would ever have cosmetic surgery?
Me? No, I don't think so. I'm really against it, actually.
Really,
why?
why?
Basically, I think it can be quite dangerous. Some of the implants you can have,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
like Mike's girlfriend. She actually had some Botox injections in her forehead.
Did she?
Yeah, and she couldn't,
Couldn't move her face?
Yeah, she couldn't smile or frown. Her face was just frozen solid.
Fair enough. But if someone's very depressed because of the way they look, maybe then they should have some kind of surgery, to help their self-esteem.
I think there are other ways to help.
And what about if they have a serious health problem, such as maybe they're extremely overweight?
For health reasons, maybe yes. I mean, I see your point, but I still don't like the sound of it. Personally, I think it's too much of a risk. I wouldn't do it myself.
I might, if it was to do with my health.
Unit 2. Recording 8. 1.
I see your point, but...
2.
I agree to some extent, but...
3.
I suppose so.
4.
Fair enough, but...
Unit 2. Recording 9.
Our presentation is about the pros and cons of traditional roles in a family. I'll talk about the pros, and James will talk about the cons. Then you can decide.
First, to make it clear what we mean by traditional roles, we're thinking of the man as breadwinner, as the one who earns the money to support the family, while the woman stays at home and takes care of the children. At home, generally speaking, the woman does the housework, the cooking, cleaning, etc., while the man might do home repairs and take care of the car. Denise?
So, on the positive side, the roles are very clearly defined. Both the man and woman know who does what, so there's less confusion and fewer conflicts about that. If there are children, there's less pressure on family life, in that if the woman doesn't work, she has time to manage things such as birthdays, paying bills, taking children to and from the various activities that children do. Also, there's more contact between the mother and children, and that's bound to be good for the health of the whole family. And in reality, a lot of men are better at doing heavier or more mechanical work, such as car repairs. And let's face it, many women do notice more than men things like how clean or tidy a room is, so they're the best person to take care of this. Over to you, James.
Thanks, Denise. So, on the negative side, if the man is always the one who works, there can be too little contact between father and child, and that can't be good for the family. Also, in some couples, the woman will be good at tasks traditionally done by the man, and vice versa. For instance, if the man is a better cook than the woman, or is happier staying at home with the children, while the woman is better at fixing the car and mowing the lawn, then it would be silly for the one who is less good at the task to be the one to do it. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, a lot of women will of course want to work and develop a career, both for their own satisfaction and independence, and also to be a role model for their children.
Those are just some of the pros and cons. Over to you now to decide which are stronger, the pros or the cons.
Unit 3. Stories. Recording 1. 1.
The woman had been standing there for a long time and was shivering badly.
2.
When she was paying for her meal, the old lady remembered what Steve Hunt had said.
Unit 3. Recording 2.
In the 1920s, Ernest Hemingway bet $10 that he could write a complete story in just 6 words. He wrote, "For sale, baby shoes never worn." He won the bet. An American online magazine has now used that to inspire its readers to write their life story in 6 words. And they've been overwhelmed by the thousands who took up the challenge. They published the best in a book which they've given the title of one of the submissions, Not Quite What I Was Planning. I asked the editor, Larry Smith, what made him think of the idea.
So we thought, let's ask our readers their 6-word life story, a memoir, and see what happened. We really didn't know what would happen.
And what did happen?
It was incredible. In a couple of months, we got 15,000 entries, and I was just blown away. Funny, poignant. I really believe that everyone has a story, and I was just so inspired by how serious and intense folks took the 6-word memoir challenge.
Okay, but before we look at the examples, it's one thing, because the Hemingway is a story, but it's not the story of a life. That seems to be a bit of a challenge to fit that in 6 words.
Well, it's interesting, because some folks clearly tried to tell a whole story of a life in 6 words, and you can tell in other times they're telling a moment in their life right at this moment, something that they're feeling right now, or perhaps something that's been a thread throughout their lives.
Well, give us some examples.
Wasn't born a redhead. Fixed that. This woman took life under control, whether she just always felt that her soul was a redheaded soul, or simply at some point in life she was going to make a switch. She could have quit her job, she changed her hair color.
But a lot of them are quite sad, or there's a sort of sense of regret or disappointment in a lot of them.
I didn't expect that. I thought people would come back with a lot of funny things, some playful things, plays on words, but that was a really interesting reality. People really told us it's tough out there. Found true love, married someone else. Never should have bought that ring.
Unit 3. Recording 3. A.
I wish I could do it all again.
B.
I wish I weren't so anxious.
C.
I wish I'd stayed where I was happy.
D.
I wish he'd pay more attention to me.
E.
If only I hadn't become a doctor.
F.
If only I'd been born 20 years later.
Unit 3. Recording 4.
So, Amy, what time's your flight?
Oh, it's at 1.
Right.
It's really long as well, about 12 hours. Listen, I'm going to need something to read, I reckon. I need a good book.
Well,
Got any
yeah,
ideas?
actually, yeah. You know The Hunger Games? Have you ever read that?
No, I don't think so.
No, it's really good. Yeah, it sort of describes like this society in the future, you know, about the government taking over and making these kids do a TV show where they have to basically kill each other.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit violent for me.
Yeah, it is. But it raises all sorts of, you know, really interesting questions about society and the power of TV. I thought it was really great. I mean, I'm a big fan of sci-fi novels anyway, but what I really liked about it was the main character, the girl.
Is that the one that's played by Jennifer Lawrence in the film?
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I really like that character because she's very brave and she's a survivor and she sort of stands for what she believes in. And I love her.
It does sound quite good, but I don't really like sci-fi that much, to be honest. So I don't think that's...
Okay,
Yeah,
what about...
what else?
Can I suggest something else?
Yeah.
What about The Kite Runner? Have you read that?
No, I haven't, actually.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's a really moving story about two boys in Afghanistan.
Oh.
And
Yes. And doesn't one of them save someone's life or something?
yes,
Yeah,
I mean, it goes through the years, and it's so wonderful. It really... I loved it. And the thing I love about it is the way it builds the whole story, and you get so involved with these characters that you just have to know what's going to happen next.
Actually, speaking of getting involved in characters, I really love Life of Pi. Have you ever read that?
I've heard of it, but isn't it a bit weird? It's a bit of a weird
Oh,
one,
no,
isn't
I
it?
really
About
enjoyed
a boy and
it.
a tiger in a boat or something.
Yeah,
Right.
it's very sort of... I think it has a deep and meaningful story behind it, and I really like getting to know him and the fact that he loves this tiger, and it's very fantasy.
It's not a comedy then?
No.
I mean, I did start it, but I couldn't get into it, I'm afraid. I mean, I can't stand books that sort of preach at you, and it felt to me that it was doing that. It made me uncomfortable.
Sounds a bit serious for me, to be honest, for a 12-hour plane journey.
I'm not sure we've given any choices that have many laughs, to be honest, have we?
No.
I don't know. But actually, there's a lot of warmth in Kite Runner, that's what I would say. I mean, it's worth trying, to stick with it.
Do you know what, I think I might try The Hunger Games, actually. Yes. Because I think I've seen the trailer of the film, and it looks quite interesting.
Unit 3. Recording 5. 1.
I'm a big fan of sci-fi novels anyway.
2.
What I really liked about it was the main character.
3.
I don't really like sci-fi that much, to be honest.
4.
The thing I love about it is the way it builds the whole story.
5.
I just couldn't get into it.
6.
I can't stand books that sort of preach at you.
Unit 3. Recording 6.
On the morning of his 5th wedding anniversary, Nick Dunn returns home and finds that his wife Amy has disappeared. During the next few days, the police and media invade Nick's life. Unfortunately for him, they decide that Nick is the #1 suspect for Amy's murder. Through her diary entries, we find out that Amy isn't happy in the marriage. However, as the story progresses, we are forced to change our opinions of Nick and Amy as more information emerges about the true state of their relationship.
Unit 3. Recording 7.
Fawlty Towers. I absolutely love Fawlty Towers. I've seen this hundreds of times and it's my absolute favourite. It always makes me laugh. In fact, it makes me cry with laughter sometimes. Can't get enough of it. The main character, Basil Fawlty, played by John Cleese, is absolutely brilliant. It's like a lesson in comic acting. The more bad things that happen to this man, the more we laugh. My favourite scene is the scene with Mrs. Richards and Basil Fawlty. And it's very, very cleverly done. Mrs. Richards wears a hearing aid and Basil Fawlty hates Mrs. Richards. She's a terrible, grumpy, old, complaining customer who he really doesn't like. So he comes into the room and he mimes at her. So he moves his mouth but he doesn't make any sound so that Mrs. Richards turns up her hearing aid so that she can hear him. And then he mimes again. He moves his mouth again, not making any sound. So she can't understand why she can't hear him. So she turns up her hearing aid again. And then once he's sure that her hearing aid is on full volume, he shouts at her, "Mrs. Richards!" Of course, which deafens her. And it's very, very funny, and it's amazing because he gets his own back on her because she's been awful to him. So he kind of wins in the end. But it's just brilliant. If you've never seen it, you really should see it. There were very few episodes made. I think there were only ever one series, maybe 8 episodes, something like that. I'm not entirely sure about that, but not very many made, and they're really, really fantastic. Every one is absolutely priceless.
Unit 4. Downtime. Recording 1. 1.
We'd sit around and watch TV.
2.
We sit around and watch TV.
3.
I'll make a coffee and check my email.
4.
I make my coffee and check my email.
5.
They play computer games.
6.
They'd play computer games.
7.
I'll phone her first thing every day.
8.
I phone her first thing every day.
Unit 4. Recording 2. 1.
Perfect. Classic. Stunning.
2.
Superb.
3.
Breathtaking.
4.
Delightful.
5.
Exceptional. Significant.
Unit 4. Recording 3. Conversation 1.
Hi, Steve. Come and sit down.
Thanks. Hi, Penny. Hi, George. Good to see you.
Hi.
Are you all packed now?
Yeah, all done. It was all a bit of a rush, but I think I'm ready to go. I just hope I haven't forgotten anything.
When are you off?
The taxi's picking me up at 7 tomorrow.
Where are you going?
France. On holiday, working on a farm there.
Work? Not my idea of a holiday.
Actually, I don't think it'll be too hard. They said they want me to work in the garden, not in the fields. They've got a big garden, and they need someone to look after it.
I didn't know you were interested in gardening.
I'm not really, but apparently there might be some building work on the house. They're not sure yet. That's more my type of thing.
It still sounds like hard work. I wouldn't call it a holiday.
Well, I only have to work 5 hours a day, and in exchange I get free board and lodging, so it's like a free holiday. Well, almost free.
I think it sounds great. Where are you going exactly?
It's in the centre of the country. Hold on a minute, I've got a photo on my phone. Yeah, here, look.
Oh, nice location.
It looks stunning.
Yeah, and this is the local town.
So, it's not all work?
No, I get lots of time off. I'm hoping to visit a few places at weekends, and I'm going to Paris one weekend.
Yeah, I'm thinking of going over. A weekend in Paris sounds good to me.
Actually, looking at those photos, I'm changing my mind. How did you find out about it?
On the internet. There are lots of sites. The one I looked at was
Conversation 2.
Yes, sir.
Could you tell us what's happening with flight IB3056?
Flight IB3056.
Yes, we've been waiting for over an hour and we've heard nothing. All it says on the screen is delayed.
I'm afraid the plane has been delayed coming in from Amsterdam, sir. Bear with me a minute. I'll just check the latest information on the computer.
Thank you.
The plane is due to arrive at 10:30 at the earliest.
But that's over 3 hours' time.
I'm sorry, sir, and it's likely to be later than that.
Oh, this isn't good enough. We've only got a weekend.
I'm sorry, sir. There's nothing I can do.
Is there any way you could get us onto another flight? We're only going for 2 days and we've really been looking forward to it. It sounds as if we won't get to Seville till the afternoon.
I'm sorry, madam. Our 9 o'clock flight to Seville is full.
What about another airline? Maybe we could transfer to another flight.
I'm really sorry, but that's not possible. It's not our policy except in an emergency.
This is an emergency.
Bill. Oh dear. Couldn't the airline at least pay for our breakfast?
Well, here are 2 vouchers for free coffee, courtesy of the airline.
Oh, thank you. Come on, Bill, let's go and get some breakfast.
I can tell you this is the last time I use your airline.
Come on, Bill.
This is the worst experience I've ever had.
Conversation 3.
Hi, Jan.
Oh, hi, Chris. When did you get back?
Last night. The plane got in at 9.
Welcome home.
Thanks.
So, how was it?
Oh, brilliant. I had an absolutely amazing time.
And how's your Spanish?
Muy buen, gracias.
Sounds good to me. So, tell me all about it.
Well, the family were lovely, really hospitable. They made me feel at home straight away, and incredibly generous. They even invited me out to a restaurant on my last night.
Yeah?
And Maria, who did the teaching, was very good, very patient. We spent a lot of time together going for walks along the lake. You know, the town is on a big lake.
Yeah, I saw your photos on Facebook. They looked stunning, absolutely breathtaking.
Yeah, and we would chat or just sit around drinking limonada con soda and...
What's that?
That's freshly squeezed lemons and soda water. It's a typical drink there. But 1 week was really not enough.
So are you hoping to go back?
I'd love to. Maria's invited me, and I might go back next summer, but only if I can afford the flight. But I have a plan. I'm going to look for a new job with more money.
Hey, are you free tomorrow for lunch? Why don't we meet up and you can tell me more about it?
Yeah, that would be great. Where should we meet?
Unit 4. Recording 4. 1.
What are you going to do after class?
2.
Who'll be there?
3.
When'll you have time to talk?
4.
When are you meeting them?
Unit 4. Recording 5. Conversation 1.
It's one of these games that involve lying and people try to figure out if you're lying or not, but it's different and really funny.
Oh, I like that kind of thing. Are there teams or something?
Yeah, there are 2 teams with 3 celebs on each team.
3 what?
Celebs. Celebrities.
Oh, right.
There's a team captain on each team. Actually, the team captains are well-known comedians and they're on every show.
So each team has a comedian and 2 celebrities?
Exactly. The first thing they do is to tell a personal story. So a panellist tells a personal story.
Sorry, who tells a story?
A panellist. One of the people on one of the teams.
Oh, I see.
So they tell something about themselves, often something really embarrassing. Now, it might be true or they might be lying. The key thing is to say something that's so unbelievable that it's hard to imagine it's true.
And then they vote?
Not right away. What happens next is the other team grills the storyteller.
They do what?
Grill him. Ask a lot of questions to try and find out if the person's lying.
Yeah, you can tell if someone's lying by how fast they answer.
Well, the panellists are usually very good at it. It's surprising how hard it is to guess. But for me, the best thing is the humour. The joking around. It's really entertaining.
I'll bet I could figure out if they're lying.
Maybe. Anyway, after they finished, the team that asked the questions decide if it was a lie or not. If they're right, they get a point.
What sort of things do they say?
Oh, gosh, all sorts of things. One of my favourites was when a female panellist said she'd kissed one of the other panellists.
And was it true?
I'm not going to tell you. It's on TV tonight. We can watch and you can show me how great you are at saying if someone is lying.
Oh, great.
Conversation 2.
Oh, you must have seen it.
No, I've never even heard of it. How does it work?
Well, it sounds really stupid, but I'll try to describe it. It's basically a race over an obstacle course.
Over a what?
An obstacle course. There are lots of things that they have to climb over and balance on.
Oh, obstacle, got it.
And if they fall off, they fall into water or mud.
Oh, sounds dangerous.
It can be.
So what are the obstacles like?
Well, there are a lot of different ones. There's the sweeper.
Sweeper, like a broom?
Yeah. Basically, the way it works is that 12 of the contestants stand on podiums over water.
They stand where?
On podiums, these tall columns or blocks, like little towers.
And is it hard to balance?
Well, yes, mainly because of the sweeper. It's a big arm, really, and it turns around and around over the podiums. What you have to do is jump over the arm when it gets to you. Then you have to land on the podium without falling down.
And if they get knocked down?
They fall into the water, sometimes quite dramatically. That's the thing I like best, those dramatic falls. The last one standing wins the round.
Sorry, they win what?
The round. That part of the competition.
Oh, so there are more obstacles.
Oh, yeah. It's not just the sweeper. There are lots of different types of obstacles. Tippy tables, teeter-totters, dock maze, crazy beams, donuts.
Wow, donuts. Crazy. And how do you win?
The point is to get round the course in the fastest time. The fastest person is the winner.
Sounds quite good fun.
The studio is amazing. They film it in BA. Imagine the UK TV crew.
They film it where?
In BA, Buenos Aires, Argentina.
They fly to Argentina to film this.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Unit 4. Recording 6. 1.
There are 2 teams with 3 celebs on each team.
3 what?
2.
So a panellist tells a personal story.
Sorry, who tells a story?
3.
The other team grills the storyteller.
They do what?
4.
12 of the contestants stand on podiums over water.
They stand where?
Unit 4. Recording 7.
Excuse me, hello. Sorry to bother you. Have you got a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Do you mind if I ask you some questions? I'm just doing a survey on happiness.
Right.
I'll read out the questions to you and you can just tell me what you think, if that's okay.
Yeah, fine.
Great. Could you look at this list of 5 things? So you've got number 1, car, then 2 is friendship, 3, good food, 4, money, and 5, free time. So which 2 of these would you find it the most difficult to live without?
Which 2 most difficult to live without?
Yes.
Well, I couldn't live without friendship. I'm a very social animal. I need family and friends around me, so it can't be that one. Oh, no, sorry, that is to live without.
That's
yes,
one.
That is one.
Then we just need one more.
Friendship is definitely one of them.
Yes, number 2, okay.
That's difficult. Free time, I don't have any anyway. I could lose the car, I think. That wouldn't be a problem.
How about
Do you
money?
know what? Sad as it is, it's probably money.
Money,
because
yeah, most
money
people
actually,
think.
leads to happiness in indirect ways, I think.
Okay, so I'm going to put number 2 and number 4 for that one. And
Okay.
also, how happy would you say you are on a scale of 1 to 5? 5 being very happy.
Today or just generally?
I think generally.
Oh, generally, okay. 3 or 4. 3.5.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, you made me laugh. I'll have 4.
Oh, lovely. I'll put you down for 4. And what would you say is missing from your life? So what would make you happier?
Probably working nearer to home.
Okay.
That's, I think, just generally the time that would give me.
Right.
With family.
So maybe
and
it's
to do
free
things.
time then,
Yeah.
more of that. Okay, that's lovely. Thank you ever so much for taking part. Really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Unit 5. Ideas. Recording 1. 1.
The interesting thing is that many of the people who hate it are the ones who watch it.
2.
The automobile has done less well since the economic crisis.
3.
Those who voted for the car mentioned the harm it does to the environment as the biggest problem.
Unit 5. Recording 2.
The interesting thing. The automobile. The economic crisis. The environment.
Unit 5. Recording 3. 1.
There's been a breakthrough.
2.
It's a trade-off between cost and safety.
3.
The long-term outlook is very good.
4.
The downside is I get paid less.
5.
There's only one drawback.
6.
There's been a breakdown in communications.
7.
What was the outcome of the meeting?
Unit 5. Recording 4.
Jake, you've been in advertising for 35 years? How have things changed over that time?
Well, there have been huge changes in where and how we advertise, but many of the basic principles of marketing are the same. For example, how consumers choose brands.
Can you give me an example?
Yes, let's imagine a coffee shop in a town centre somewhere. Anywhere, and it sells 1,000 cups of coffee a day. Now, if another coffee shop opened next door...
The first owner would be furious.
Don't be so sure. How many cups of coffee would each shop sell?
I don't know, 500?
Logical, but no. They'd sell at least 1,000 cups each.
Incredible. Why's that?
Choice makes people want things more. With one coffee shop, the question is, shall I get a coffee or not? But with two, the question becomes, which coffee shall I get?
Fascinating. So what else hasn't changed?
Pricing is still important. People still like a bargain, but they also like to treat themselves.
What do you mean?
Well, supposing you wanted to sell a new brand of chocolate and your competitor's price was €2. What price would you set?
I'd reduce the price, maybe 180.
Why?
Because consumers want to save money.
True, to a certain extent, but experience shows that if the price is higher, people think your product is better.
So 250 would be better?
Indeed.
How about advertising a product? It's all video now, isn't it?
Well, not completely, but much more. One thing hasn't changed, though, which is the way we respond to colour.
Oh, you mean like red means danger?
Yes, that kind of thing. We have built-in associations for every colour. Red is associated with energy, so it's good for energy drinks, cars, sports equipment and things like that. Green suggests safety, so it's often used for medical products. Apparently, yellow and orange stimulate the appetite, so they're used for food ads. Blue, on the other hand, suppresses the appetite. It's linked more to intellect and precision, so it's used to promote high-tech products.
And this information is used in video adverts as well?
Sure. If a video advert goes viral, it'll get millions of views. And compared with TV, it's basically free. Your brand name will travel around the world, provided the video goes viral.
And how can you ensure that?
You can't, but there are certain things that can help.
Such as?
Well, about 25% of viewers will click off the video in the first 10 seconds. So you need to grab the viewer in the first 5 seconds. And you need to make the video memorable. I'll show you what I mean. I'll describe a video. You tell me the product.
Okay.
Babies on roller skates dancing to hip-hop music.
Mineral water.
A gorilla playing drums to a famous pop song.
Chocolate. OK, I see your point. They were all quite bizarre.
Exactly. And memorable. People will click off unless the video is memorable. And millions of people shared them. And that didn't cost the advertiser anything. It's a great way to enter the market if you're a small business.
Yeah, I see. Any other guidelines?
Well, make it short. 15 to 60 seconds is good.
OK.
And it matters which day you post it. If you release the video at the weekend, you're dead.
But surely that's when people are free.
No. The best time is Monday and Tuesday between 11 and 1. Back at work, at their desks, bored.
Oh, right. And what about the content?
Tell a story. Engage the viewer. For example, if you were watching...
Unit 5. Recording 5. 1.
I'll buy it if you reduce the price.
2.
I'd buy it if it weren't so expensive.
3.
Suppose you had the money. Which one would you buy?
4.
I'll come as long as you let me pay.
5.
You can't come in unless you're a member.
Unit 5. Recording 6.
OK, people, so we're going to look for ways to get people walking more today, and Ben's going to take notes.
Right, OK, hang on, let me just get a pen.
Thank you. At this stage, I think let's just get all our ideas down and we can discuss them later.
Right. Well, I think some sort of branding, we need a sponsor. Like, I don't know, a shoe company, for example.
OK,
Yeah.
next idea.
Well, I think walking is the easiest exercise anyone can take.
Benefits
if we
of
just,
it?
Yeah, the benefits of exercise, losing weight, keeping your heart healthy.
And what about
sort of
the
thing.
other side of that? Scare people into thinking about what happens if you sit down too much, if you're not walking. Health problems and.
Good idea.
I'll tell you what about
health?
Could you? I don't know, close public transport for a day so that everyone has to walk. So they have to
What in the town centre? You mean?
Yeah.
That's good.
Hey, we're brainstorming.
Okay.
Maybe a video showing just people's feet, so you've got walking and talking at the same time.
And we could maybe incentivise people by raising money for charity.
Yes,
like distance covered, how many steps, or
one more.
Well, maybe get some celebrities involved.
That's a great idea as well. Did you get all of that, Ben?
Yep. So we've got sponsorship, health.
Yes.
Tied with that, we've got scaring people.
Yes.
We've got closing public transport.
Yeah.
In the town.
Yeah.
We've got a video.
The viral.
The viral.
campaigns,
Yeah. And charity campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? Oh, yes, celebrity. I didn't write that down. Celebrity.
Okay, brilliant. Time's up, and we've got some really great ideas. Well done.
Unit 5. Recording 7.
Okay, we're going to look at the list, and we've got all the ideas, but we need to cut it down now.
Okay. Right.
So I'm going to put them up on the screen, and we'll start with the shoe company one, the sponsor. How do you feel about this idea?
Well, actually, that could be a problem. I mean, we want the campaign to be as wide as possible, don't we? So we don't want to link it just with one company, do we?
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, I mean, my idea, for example, about pursuing the health angle.
Yeah.
We could get a TV doctor, perhaps, to make a programme about the benefits of walking.
Yeah.
Nice.
And to be honest, it wouldn't be my first choice, I have to say. But I mean, I
if
like
you had
it,
the
but
scientific angle to it, it could work.
It's a bit obvious, maybe. Do you know what I mean? It's a kind of...
What been done?
I think it has, actually. I think it's a bit boring. I think the science thing's a bit boring. And actually, that's quite a lot of money to stick something on the telly as well.
All right, so in that case, would you consider the opposite idea of scaring people into it?
Well, frankly, I don't think that would be effective.
No?
I mean, people have been told about the dangers of lack of exercise for years.
Yeah, it's not a new thing, is it?
All right, then. How does the idea of closing public transport strike you?
I don't think that's realistic, to be honest with you. I don't think the train and bus companies would go for
mean,
that. They'd lose so much money. I just
to
think
put it
it'd be a
bluntly,
disaster.
it wouldn't work.
Because they just lose money?
They'd lose too much money.
Actually, I think we're on the wrong track here.
Yeah?
I mean, I think it'd be great if we could get celebrities to sort of promote walking generally.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. I think we should go for the feet idea.
With the video of the feet walking?
That's right, yeah.
I mean, I have to say at the moment, I'm torn between the video and the celebrity. I think they're the best two ideas.
All right, so with that in mind, suppose we try combining the two ideas, our favourite ones. So we have the feet video, but we have it so it's a celebrity.
Famous feet. Famous feet.
Yeah,
That's a good
That's
title for it as well.
Oh, and you could,
I like it.
You
Famous
could,
feet.
have it as a competition.
Yeah, brilliant.
So to guess whose feet that was, for example. So you have a shot
What do
of
you
the
think?
feet walking, the person speaking, and then you have to guess who it is.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, let's go with that.
Unit 5. Recording 8. 1.
How do you feel about this idea?
2.
Would you consider the opposite idea of scaring people into it?
3.
How does the idea of closing public transport strike you?
4.
I think it would be great if we could get celebrities to promote walking generally.
5.
I think we should go with the feet idea.
6.
With that in mind, suppose we try combining the two ideas.
7.
Let's go with that.
Unit 5. Recording 9. 1.
Actually, that could be a problem.
2.
To be honest, it wouldn't be my first choice.
3.
Frankly, I don't think that would be effective.
4.
To put it bluntly, it wouldn't work.
5.
I have to say, at the moment, I'm torn between the video and the celebrity.
Unit 5. Recording 10. 1.
Well, actually, I think it's...
2.
Well, actually, I think it's...
3.
I have to say, I feel that...
4.
I have to say, I feel that...
5.
To be honest, it's quite...
6.
To be honest, it's quite...
Unit 5. Recording 11.
We would like to introduce you to an idea that will change the way you eat. Yummy utensils. As you can guess, we're talking about knives, forks and spoons that you can eat.
You'll never have to throw plastic knives, forks and spoons in the rubbish again. At the end of your lunch, after you finish eating, you simply eat your utensils, like this.
Yummy utensils are made of a special vegetable and flour mixture, are strong enough to cut meat and pierce salad, but easy to digest after you chew them.
They're tasty too, a bit like pretzels. But here, would you like to try one?
What makes our idea special is that it's not just practical and it's not a simple gimmick.
No, yummy utensils are not just practical and fun, they're also environmentally friendly. Just think of all the resources that go into making plastic utensils, which are just thrown into the rubbish and become a permanent part of the waste that we litter the planet with. Yummy utensils are made from natural ingredients, using the same processes as are used to make bread products and, of course, create no rubbish at all. Even if you don't eat your yummy utensils and throw them in the rubbish, they dissolve within days. So there's no damage to the environment.
We envisage this product being sold in supermarkets in the same section where you buy picnic supplies. But don't be surprised if they're sold in the snack section. They taste better than some snack foods, and they're certainly better for you.
We think that yummy utensils will be a hit with families in particular, since they're the biggest consumers of disposable utensils.
And kids love having a fork or spoon they can eat. We've done some market testing and it was amazing how much the children enjoyed them.
In the future, we are planning to develop a sweetened version which will make yummy utensils the perfect dessert.
Thank you for your attention and we welcome any questions.